Charles Van Morgan live. Here we go, training. So we will, Good morning, Vietnam. So yeah, that's well, I talk about social problems. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. It is raining, so we're gonna have to be careful and talk a little loud. Why I talk about social problems? We're going to discuss some social problems and why we need to talk about them. So welcome, Charles Van Morgan Show. We're broadcasting live this morning on a rainy Monday morning in Knoxville, Tennessee. So y'all come on in. We're going to talk about social problems today. I just happen to have a little degree in that, Master of Arts in Sociology from the University of Tennessee, and we're going to talk about how it's important to you about social problems and put them in the proper perspective and context and discuss some things that we can do about social problems in the United States or whatever country you're in. So, it's the Charles Van Morgan Show this morning. And join us today. We're on our way down to the bridge if we make it. I have to talk a little loud because it is raining and slick out. So, hopefully we won't have a car slam into us. But the Charles Van Morgan Show, Monday morning. Welcome. Got a great show for you today, I think. Let's discuss social problems and see what you think about them. So also first, we want to talk about Lyon Lowell Russell. One of the main reasons we're out here today with the show, cause a major social problem, is Lyon Lowell Russell, who's a state representative now. Hello, Lowell. You dirty thug liar. Come on in. You can listen to this too. You lied on me. I'm going to tell the truth about you. You're a lying, dirty, useless, senseless thug. And we're going to talk about the social problem that you caused. One of the main social problems we have in the state of Tennessee is people like Lyon Lowell Russell in our legislature. He's a lawmaker, and he doesn't even have any legal experience or any education in the law. Doesn't have a doctorate of jurisprudence like I do. How did he get in the legislature? Well, that's one of the social problems that we have in the government, is people get in high positions of power based on political influence and buying positions that they should never be in. And that causes a great deal of harm to society. So Lyon Lowell Russell got promoted. It was well publicized, although they don't do anything about the truth that should prevent them from being in any kind of public office. Somebody paid about $5,000 for him to get promoted to sergeant with THPP. He was so dangerous to himself and others that he ended up, within about a month of being on the road in the Knoxville district, hurting himself so badly because of poor decisions, not watching out for other vehicle traffic, that he was in a horrendous crash. And people felt sorry for him and voted him into because of lies and because of public money that paid for campaign signs for him. You can go all across 411, there's campaign signs advertising Lyon Lowell Russell, and you paid for his campaign signs on him as some type of hero. When he has caused mass casualties, he's caused a major social problem in the United States of America, in the state of Tennessee. He's caused a lot of people to get killed on Tennessee roadways. So he didn't get promoted because he solved a social problem. He got promoted because he bought the office. If people felt sorry for him, and they bought sergeant for him. Somebody paid a lot of money to put him on a promotion list. You can look it up. We can get down to the bridge. I got it in my pocket here. So we're talking about social problems. See if we got anybody in here. We got a few. So we're talking about social problems and what they are and why we should be concerned about them. So, social problems, and I hope y'all can hear me. I'm talking loud because it's raining. Social problems are subject to the definer. And there's some social problems that some people think are a social problem and some people are not. So it's subject to the definition. It's like beauty. It's subject to the definition of the holder. It's like ugly, subject to the definition of the holder. There are some social problems that people benefit off of, so they don't want to solve it. So they don't think it's a social problem. A social problem being one that affects a large group of people. A number it's got to be more than one, but that's not defined. It could be a large group of people, a small group of people, but it's got to be more than one. Like one person's unemployment is not a significant social problem. It could be due to them being lazy or due to them not being able to find a particular job. But when you have mass layoffs in a community, then that's a social problem. It's something that affects a large group of people. When you have mass crime by people in government power, like judges committing mass crimes, falsifying documents, making deals to their friends, putting people in jail unlawfully, like goes on in the state of Tennessee, that is a social problem. When you have people elected to public office like Lionel Russell based on fraud and using tax money to put up signs on 411, adjudicating rules and laws that benefit the powerful and serve him, then that's a social problem. And that's more of a social problem, that's more of a social problem than, you can see it raining, than street crime. The judicial situation in the state of Tennessee, in my definition, which counts, I count, you count, is more of a social problem. Lionel Russell is more of a social problem than thugs that go in and rob that store, that convenience store. So we're going to talk about the definition of a social problem and what a social problem is not, and things we can do if we choose to, as people leading a movement to solve some of these problems for the benefit of all mankind against people in government power. If you like people in government power and you think they're doing a fine job, this show probably ain't for you. It's probably not for you, because I don't think people in government power are doing a good job at all. I think they're messing up things pretty bad. So let's look at the definition of a social problem. So come on board. We got a few people in here. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. We are fighting the weather. We may in the future start doing this show from a studio. So like, share, comment, contribute. So here's some of my notes, rough notes I made. How Lionel Russell got promoted to sergeant. The ultimate has led to the massacre on Tennessee roadways to this day. Hey Russell, you thought I'd give up, didn't you? Well, people get killed to this day because of your sorry ass. you gangster in government power. So I know he'd like to make me out to be a lunatic. I'm a lunatic with a JD, a Doctor of Jurisprudence, and a Master of Arts in Sociology. What does your resume say? Doctor of Destruction, bought positions by hobnobbing with people in power and causing mass destruction on Tennessee roadways, getting your brother promoted, nepotism. You can say whatever you want to, so can I. Try to stop me and I'll stop you. How a sitting state representative is responsible for hundreds of Tennesseans killed on the roadway. Still going on today. So, why study social problems? Whether we like it or not, a social problem affects us all. Whether you like it or not, Lionel Russell and judicial corruption and our crooked politicians affect us all. They adversely affect us all. So we need to look at and think about social problems. The definition of a social problem, the definition of crimes of privilege, is illegal or unethical acts committed by people in positions of power, wealth, or authority that use their status to avoid accountability. So that's a definition. The reason we need to study social movements is because it destroys public trust in justice and government and fairness. Systematic injustice makes it life harder for me and you, for honest people. It is about protecting the foundations of a fair and equal society. So that's why we need to study social movements. A social movement is three things: a condition affecting a significant number of people. That is not like a pet peeve. A pet peeve is something that you don't like, that just affects you, and that's not a social problem. A social problem is something that affects a significant number of people, and there's no set number, and it's based on outside forces. When it affects a significant number of forces, then it's a social problem. So let's see how many people I got in here. Like, share, comment, and contribute to the social movement if you can. Power to you, the people movement, so that we can elect officials in office that will solve social problems instead of contributing to them based on politics and who's your daddy or who's your brother, like his dumb brother that's promoted to sergeant. So yeah, we're ragging on these people. They deserve it. If you think that I'm being unjustly fair, go to the scene of a wreck where a little child is killed and someone is horrifically dead, an innocent person, and blame Lionel Russell that increased that through politics. If you think I'm being difficult or hard, and that's a social problem that he's caused. Instead of dealing with the drunk driving problem, he got rid of somebody that was solving that problem very significantly, reducing it. And politics and power and money bought a lie, and he's a dirty liar, which is what's in my book. If you want to buy my book, The Trooper Van Morgan Story, then I will sell it to you for $149. It's got all the facts, dates, documents, citations to court documents. It's where they lied under oath in their dirty courtrooms. Lionel Russell lied under oath. And well, he didn't lie under oath in this case, but he had other people lie under oath, and he lied to people that lied under oath and that filed a false lawsuit. He initiated a false lawsuit. He didn't lie under oath in this situation because he wasn't put under oath, but he lied and he lied in a police report, and which is a form of under oath, caused mass fatalities on the highways in the state of Tennessee. To this day, traffic fatalities up 45%. That's a social problem that is due to a failure of people in government by lying, a system of injustice, a corrupt criminal syndicate, which is our Tennessee government. So when we get in government, we need to put people like Lionel Russell behind bars. Put his big fancy dumb ass, doesn't have any education, behind bars where he belongs. He's a danger to the public and society. I've got a doctor of jurisprudence, a master of arts in sociology that confirms, according to science, that he's a criminal. He's a privileged criminal that gets out of his crimes by lying to you, sits in our government state houses and perpetrates other lies and deception. And if you think our government's going good, then don't listen to a damn word I say. But we got our haters on here, our supporters of him on here, so keep at it. If you think it's going to stop me if I don't get funding, it might. It takes money. He's got his hand in Bill Haslam's pocket. You know, I'm just saying. But let's see here. So, why study social problems? Because they affect a large number of people, and a social problem is a problem, not a pet peeve. It's a problem that affects a significant number of people adversely. And also there's value judgments in what a social problem is, because what some people think is a social problem, other people don't even consider it to be a social problem. So there's a value judgment. And you may not think that our Tennessee government, our judiciary, and our people in power are a significant social problem. That's a value judgment that you make. You got every right to make that. Keep voting them in. Our government's shut down at the federal level right now. If you think that's good, if that's not a social problem, you're allowed to think whatever you want to. You're not allowed for it to be reality. You're not allowed for it to be facts, because facts, if you ignore them, can be deadly to you and other people, and that's where I differ from you. So I do believe that a social problem is the corruption in our government, which is what this channel is for. This is for a movement to get power back to the people and deal with the social problem. So let's look at the rest of the definition of a social problem. Like, share, comment, and we will deal with the rain. We will deal with the rain. So, the other part of the definition of a social problem is a condition affecting a significant number of people. Pet peeves, not social problem, unless it affects a lot of people. The way you can find about a social problem is a lot of stuff's written about it, and a lot of people complain about it, not necessarily in the news. In ways considered undesirable, that's a value judgment. So you may consider something undesirable, and somebody else may not. You may consider something a social problem, and other people have a different value, about which it is felt something can be done, the belief in the possibility of a treatment that causes people to consider it a problem. So the belief that something can be done about it is also part of a social problem. If it doesn't be done about it, then we don't consider it a social problem. And right now I want to mention the bed store on Chapman Highway. Visit the bed store. They helped me, let me put up a sign, and all the people that let me put up a sign when I was running for office. A sign that I paid for. Unlike other people in government power running for office, you pay for their signs. And there'll be a lady that sets out selling UT football shirts, beautiful shirts, at the old Kaz Walker place on Chapman Highway. Go visit her Saturday during the football game. So, and a social problem is is people agree what the social problem is, and their problems are natural and okay. So that's the criteria of a social problem, is that they are affect a large number of people, and people agree that something can be done about it, and condition affecting a significant number of people in ways considered undesirable value judgment, about which is felt something can be done, the belief in the possibility of a treatment that causes people to consider it a problem. Through collective action, that people think something can be done about it through collective action. So that is a social problem. It is a condition affecting a significant number of people in ways considered undesirable value judgment, about which it is felt something can be done about, and through collective action. That is the definition of a social problem. So here we'll reconnect. So like, share, comment. We don't have that many people. The YouTube algorithm ain't being that good to us this morning. Maybe y'all can't hear me. But that is the definition of a social problem. So we have many social problems across the United States right now. The government's shut down. I mean, there's people that are going to be going without food here in the next few days because of the SNAP benefits are going to be shut off. The Democrats and the Republicans can't agree on a budget, can't agree on funding the government. They're way far south on both sides of the issue. We have a government that's not functioning right now. And I don't think that it is President Trump's fault. I don't. And I think that it is people in power in both houses that can't come to agreement. So thank y'all. Charles Van Morgan Show. We'll continue discussing a social problem. One of the major social problems in the state of Tennessee is the government corruption by people in power in the crooked state of Tennessee, and the false judicial decisions that are made by Tennessee crooked judges, and they make them to keep people in power, and they get elected by deception. And I think that is a social problem that affects a significant number of people. It affects the populace. It affects you. And it affects all the people in Tennessee. There are a large number of people that don't think it's a social problem. Those are the people in power, because it's their government. They're the ones that have set up this monstrosity. And they're the ones that benefit from it. It keeps rulings and decisions in their favor. They keep making laws in their favor. And they outlaw the populace and in-law themselves. Make whatever they're doing legal and legitimate. Because they're in power, they write the laws. And they've gotten in power through deception, through using churches, through using the populace, lying to them. And I think that's a social problem. Our judicial system is in such crooked shape. You about can't find an honest judge. Now, there are a few. I can think of a few. I won't name them for the sake of, I don't want people in power to hang them out, because if I call them good, people in power will know that they're not on their team. So I'm not going to mention the good judges, but we do have some, not very many. Most of them are crooked as hell, like Judge McMillan that sits in the Knox County courthouse, and he's a crooked judge. He violates due process. That's a social problem. It doesn't just affect me. It affects thousands and thousands of Tennesseans every year. He gets promoted, he gets elected by deception because the Republicans that sit in churches condone his misconduct because they want it. They want him to put the opposition in jail. They want him to fine and sanction the opposition, to take their money, to put it in the public coffers, because they live off the public coffers. So of course they don't define that as a social problem, because it is not a social problem. They want it to continue. So a social problem is something that affects a lot of people. The crooked courthouses in Tennessee affect a significant number of people daily. So, for instance, Judge McMillan, and they're dirty judges all across the state of Tennessee, he gets false civil papers signed based on fraud and perjury that come up before his court every day. Signed at the Randy Nichols Justice Center, and Randy Nichols is a real piece of work. Not worth the plug Nichols. Let's make sure we can walk here. Not worth the plug Nichols. And so we're talking about the judiciary. It's a social problem. Affects a large number of people adversely. And he gets fake civil complaints for domestic violence, and also there's different forms be among distant relatives. And he gets these fake social civil warrants, and signed by rogue judges in not worth the plug Nichols Family Unjustice Center, and they use it as a semblance of justice. They do some good to keep it legitimate, but the overall scheme of things is they will attack political candidates that run against them and subpoena them into court and take their money, which is what they did to me, lying on me. And they will find people guilty, not just me, other people guilty, that haven't did a damn thing wrong, and violate the Constitution in order to find them guilty. And it's a social problem. It doesn't just affect me. That Nichols Family Justice Center and the Tennessee Family Court is a farce set up to make them money. And it is a huge social problem. It calls for a reform in our judicial system and in our family court system. They use something that's real and benefit off of it, for like family domestic violence issues, and they put family domestic violence issues where they're not there, to benefit off themselves, to try to brand domestic violence if you're running for public office against the power elite. That's what they did to me. I was literally campaigning in Far East Tennessee, in Memphis, where I got more votes than anywhere. Thank you, people in Memphis. And I got a call from a crooked sheriff's deputy that had already made complaints on me falsely when I was out saving lives on the road. The dirty Knox County Sheriff's Department, one of the most crooked sheriff's departments in the state of Tennessee, run under the dictatorship and lies of a man that thinks he's a great Christian, that is putting hell on the face of Knoxvillians and Tennesseans. And it's a social problem. The sheriff's department's a social problem. People in the sheriff's department wish that it'd be straightened out. There's a sheriff's election coming up, and we need to vote for a sheriff that will protect our rights. So, dirty Judge McMillan, and I've seen it with my own eyes, and this is what I need people to do: sit in their courtrooms and report stuff that they do through their system and through gossip to other people. Let's put the truth out about their crooked, corrupt system, and don't let it have legitimacy, because it's not legitimate. It's crooked as hell. And we need to act and do stuff about it. Let's see if we can get across this dangerous road. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. You won't hear this anywhere else. You won't hear this truth anywhere else. The Charles Van Morgan Show. Unbridled news, not controlled by the lamestream news media. I'll tell you what's really going on. I'll show you what's really going on. They lie to you. And the news media supports their lies. And anybody that wants to get anywhere at your expense will support their lies. And back them up, and then they'll get elected to state representative or whatever when they kiss the crown. Show loyalty to the people in power. And if they like you, if you smell good enough, for them, you smell like a dirty pig, then they might, a nasty scoundrel, then they might help you get elected to government power. So here's what McMillan did. And it's on video. It's not defamation, it's true. He, in his open court, when they drugged me in there, I was running for public office. I was on the other side of Tennessee, knocking on doors, asking people to vote for me, trying to get votes, saying stuff like this about the Tennessee government, that they're crooked as hell, that they're dirty, and that we don't need to, no violence, vote them out. Exercising the constitutional First Amendment right, that evidently, according to their court rulings, they have a First Amendment right, but I don't. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, and they got a right to subpoena you into court when you didn't do a damn thing wrong. That should cause you to have any kind of order against you whatsoever at all. And if your witness come with you to court, they'll threaten to put them in jail. How dare you stand up against our power? How dare you do that to us? We won't tolerate any dissent. You will agree with us. You will bow down and agree with us. You will be at our mercy. And the Constitution doesn't apply to you. That's what they want to do. That's a social problem. It's a major social problem. Anybody that thinks different is living in a delusion. That's what they want to tell you about me. Oh, he's delusional. Yeah. Delusional with a Master of Arts in Sociology. I've passed test. Delusional with the Doctor of Jurisprudence, passed the bar exam twice. They're the ones delusional. They are drunk on power. And they think they can get by with it. Let's arrest them, just like you would any drunk that's dangerous, or more dangerous than a drunk driver, and put them in jail. We got to seize power first. Not like they do. Through the voting booth. Through the voting booth, at the voting booth. So thank y'all. We're getting a few more people. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. We are talking about social problems. And why we need, what they are, and why we need to think about them. So I read you the definition, and Judge McMillan, what he did is, I was sitting there, I was amazed at the audacity of these people in our courts with law enforcement that will shoot you if you deem to have done something to disrupt the court, or they don't like, or arrest you and put you in jail. Supposed to be systems of honor that we give a privilege to decide cases based on facts and law, that they have perverted into a sickness that substantiates a bunch of dirty lies. There is no legitimacy in our Tennessee courtrooms. They're rogue. They're not any better than Russian courtrooms. It is a serious social problem. And I'll tell you what they did. Trample all over the Constitution. So hold on with it. I'll tell you what Judge McMillan did, that sits on his Royal Highness here in his rogue courtroom, that stomps on people's rights and puts people in jail unjustifiably. And that's one of the reasons why we have more people in jail in the United States of America than any other country in the nation. Because we have dirty rogue court judge criminals. We ought to let a bunch of people out of jail and put them in jail. And that would be justice, because they're causing mass social problems, death and sorrow and destruction, and trampling all over the Constitution that soldiers die for. That's really disgusting. Disgusting. And then we have people voted into office based on power, money, and lies and deceit, like Lionel Russell, that back that trash up and massively affect you wrongly. It's called crimes of the privilege. Pick up a sociology handbook. They've been around for hundreds of years, since the 16th century. Great thinkers. Pick up the Bible and look. This is not hocus pocus or something I imagine in my mind. It's called crimes of the privilege. It's a major social problem that causes death and destruction. Let it go on. Let it go on and affect your neighbor. The Bible says to love your neighbor as yourself. So we need to do something about this major catastrophe in our rogue Tennessee courts, and we can do something about it. We can do something about it. As I read you the definition, there's stuff that can be done about it. Agree that we can do stuff about it. And I'll tell you what Judge McMillan did, and we'll discuss Dirty McMillan and some of our crooked Tennessee court judges. He shouldn't be sitting on the bench. He ought to be in jail. Let me look and see if there's any comments. How many people I got on here? Welcome, Charles Van Morgan Show. You won't find this news commentary, truthful stuff anywhere else except for the Unbridled News Show. Charles Van Morgan. Buy my book, $149. The former trooper Charles Van Morgan story. And I've got it written. If you want to buy it, send me an email at charlesvanmorgan@gmail.com, and I'll send you an electronic copy. So if you want a signed copy, then it costs a little more. Send me an email, and we'll get a book printed out and tell you how much it costs and send it to you. We're doing that on demand, but we got electronic copies that are pretty much ready to go right now. So we'll tell you the Charles Van Morgan story about corruption and lies of people in Tennessee government. So if you want to buy that, $149, we'll send you the book. It's worth that, and every penny of it. It'll save lives. So the truth. So if you look at my screenshot, the front of the book, one of the copies, one of the main photos on the front's there. I've got 2 or 3 of them, depending on which one you like. So buy a copy of my book, $149, the Charles Van Morgan story. And we will get that out to you electronically. Send me your email. Hit the square icon and request the book. Send me an email, and we'll be glad to do that. Fund the movement. So let's see if we got any comments, and we'll tell you what Dirty Judge McMillan did at the dirty, crooked Tennessee courthouse. While I was campaigning for governor, they subpoenaed me into court under threat of arrest, a dirty Knox County Sheriff's deputy. And that's not the first time. That's a dirty agency, I'm telling you. So, so here we go. Definitely, yeah. It's definitely, I don't know. We used to love our different, yeah, I don't know. Okay. 12% absolute truth. Okay. So we're trying to read some of the comments. Okay, so it is the Charles Van Morgan Show. Live, unbridled. So Judge McMillan at this courthouse down here at the Knox County Courthouse, and he does this on a daily basis because the attorney that I had, you can even try to use the system that they got set up for you to defend yourself. It's a facade. It's a way for you to get to pay into the system money. It's a facade. It doesn't work. So they subpoenaed me into court. Let's see, this guy will pull out right when we walk up. Okay, we'll just stop here till you pull out. He's trying to, so we walk up here and he'll pull out. So if it's a facade, the court system is a dirty facade that perpetrates lies. So I was out in West Tennessee in Memphis and knocking on doors, getting votes, and got a call from a Knox County Sheriff's deputy saying that they had a civil warrant on me that I had to come to court because my sister and a person who is a whoremonger that she's associated with, I'm not, that is in the Republican Party, that campaigns in the Republican Party. He literally knocks on doors himself, campaigns for Republican candidates in order to get me off the campaign trail. They knew I was running for office. They agreed to help me. Yeah, help me right. Dirty thug that he is, Fred Goodrich. So they lied about me. He wasn't even at my mother's house the day they said they needed a social order protection against me. He wasn't even there, and they needed a social order protection against somebody that, wow, imagine how that is. And I said, which I will bury him with his reputation. You can bury people. No, I'm just fine. I'm broadcasting live YouTube.
Oh, there you go. Have a good day.
You're welcome. So my loss need help. So she didn't let me shine light on her. So my loss need help. Well, you heard it live. I'm out here broadcasting live YouTube. So I guess that's what people think. They can think whatever they want to. You can think whatever you want to. So broadcasting live, the Charles Van Morgan Show, unique and different. We'll broadcast from a studio when we want to. Until then, we don't go along with the program. I got a degree in sociology. You don't have to go along with norms that don't hurt anybody, your personal things that you want to do. You don't have to do what everybody else does. You don't have to be influenced by social pressure that's not harmful to anybody. You can make up your own mind about what you want to do. And you can do what you want to. Now, there are social norms that are in place that, you know, like you shouldn't go rob a bank. That's against social norms, and also the police will arrest you and put you in jail. But walking in the rain, broadcasting on YouTube, is something obviously some people think is, man, there's something wrong with that guy. So, that's all right. That doesn't matter. That's what I want to do. So, I would implore you, you don't have to follow every social norm that comes down the block. You can be you and do what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. But you see how people think, wow, that's weird. That's what getting a sociological education will do for you. That's why a lot of sociologists are weird. They do things that people think are weird because that's what they want to do. They're not influenced by social power, by social influence as much. And they do what they want to. It's all right to do what you want to do. You don't have to follow the program. You don't have to walk across the bridge that doesn't finish and everybody's dropping into the river. You can say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go over here and do this that you'll call weird and weird, strange and weird and dangerous while you're walking, following the crowd. The bridge is broken, falling in the river and drowning. So, you know, do what you want to do. That's not illegal or wrong or immoral. You don't have to follow the crowd. You can be you. And I've had people tell me that, you know, look at my life and they say, Van, you need to do this, you need to do that. And, oh, they're worried about me and they're praying that I need to do something. It's like, you know, and they even told me, God told me to tell you that. Really? I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, I pray and talk to God too. And God gave me an education and teaches me that let me be me, and other people tell me how to be. You need to take your nose and put it on your face and walk in your shoes. I mean, if you think about it, just pure logic. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to understand what these people are doing to you. You walk in your shoes. See those shoes right there? I walk in them. You walk in your shoes. Where you go is where you're at, and what happens to you where you walk in your shoes, decisions you made or you're responsible for. Have you ever had a backseat driver tells you turn here, do that there, don't do this, don't do that, and then you get stopped by the police when you're going up the wrong way road that they told you to go on? And we'll get to McMillan. Just hold on, got a long shadow. And you get the ticket. They don't get it. They wasn't driving. So they'll tell you what to do. And they don't even think, they're the ones that's their shoes. And they're the ones that pay any price or get any benefit that I think that I have such a haughty opinion of myself that I think I ought to be able to tell everybody else what to do. And they're telling you what to do. And they don't even think, well, you know, whatever happens, the decisions he makes are decisions he makes. And that I have the audacity to say that God speaks through me to tell somebody else where to walk. Yeah, and then when something bad happens, where's your God, because it's not the real God, that told you to tell me to do that, and look what happened. Yeah, so let me give you a little advice, people. And it's all right for people to ask me if I'm all right, I understand that. But you keep your nose on your damn face, and I'll go wherever I want to go, and I'm responsible for it. Now, if you want to give me friendly suggestions, that's fine. But don't come to me and tell me God told you to tell me something. I mean, my goodness, you dirty liar using God to try to control somebody. It ain't going to work with me. I have an education. I got educated out of that. It might do you some good to go to get an education and learn that you don't have to follow the crowd. It's all right. It won't hurt anybody sometimes if you don't follow the crowd. There are new norms and social values that you do need to follow. Your conduct should not hurt anybody else. But if it doesn't hurt anybody else, it's not immoral or against God, mainly if it's not violating one of the 10 Commandments, then do it if you want to. And if 10 people say don't do that, you know, ignore them or look at them and laugh and say, you go on across that bridge and fall in the river and drown, idiot. Don't tell me what to do. And especially don't tag God's will on it, on your stupidity. I don't buy that. So it's about to quit raining just a little bit. So we'll put the umbrella up and we're going to talk about Judge McMillan, the Charles Van Morgan Show. Thank y'all for joining me live in the morning. And let's put this where I don't got to carry my umbrella. So what Judge McMillan did is they got a lied about civil warrant from a Republican that campaigns for Republican candidates while I was running against a Republican to subpoena me into court based on lies, Fred Goodrich, who bragged to me about how he knocked on doors, and he literally told me he went to churches and he'd put his foot in the door when they opened the door, so when they tried to close it on him, his foot was still in the door. If you knock on people's doors in political campaigns, you have no right to stop them from closing the door on you. That's a criminal act. It's trespassing. So Freddie Goodrich is a trespasser. I never did that. If people didn't want to talk to me, I'd go on my way. So you have these people. So like, share, comment. I guess we better get the umbrella out. Hopefully y'all can hear me. So you have these people out here. Freddie Goodrich lied in a warrant. Lied under oath in a warrant. Said that he hadn't seen me in years. And when he had seen him just a few days earlier, and he agreed to help me in my political campaign. And till he realized that I was running against a Republican, and he wanted to get my mother's estate. So it was a two-pronged reason why he lied. So he went to the courthouse with drug-addicted Tammy Goodrich and got a warrant, civil warrant. That's not even somebody I live with or anything like that where they can take gun rights away. But I was literally knocking on doors in West Tennessee. And the sheriff's department called me and they said I had to come to court. And I said, well, I'm out here in West Tennessee. I'm campaigning for office. And they said, either you come or we'll have you arrested. Threatening me like that. When will you be back? And I said, I don't know. I'll call you when I get back. I take things by the seat of my pants. I'm supposed to be a free citizen. Supposed to be a free citizen being ordered, and they might do it again. I'm telling you, they might do it again. They'll say, Van did this, we got to make him come to court. All I'm doing is on a public sidewalk speaking out against them. They can't handle that. They don't want you speaking the truth against these dirtbag liars that'll take your rights away. It's serious. They did it to me, they'll do it to you in 10 seconds. They'll march into your house and shoot you in your bed and allege that you pulled a gun on them. And the same warrants department has lied in police reports. I've already showed y'all that. So if you think this is not a social problem, then, you know, your family might miss you because they may kill you. Unless you go down there and praise the sheriff's department, give them bunches and bunches of your money because they keep wanting more money for nothing every year. Because if traffic fatality rates keep rising, they're not doing nothing about it but sitting in parking lots in cars and doing political activities that enforce political crimes against the public is what the Knox County Sheriff's Office is doing. And the sheriff is a Christian, right? You're no Christian, you dirtbag piece of dirt thug. You hire Randy Nichols and part of the politics. If you think God is on your side, let me say, I don't see no lightning striking me, dirty sheriff. You ought to apologize for Knoxvillians for the corruptness that you've been doing to Knox County for the past 8 years, you dirty thug. But see, I can say that. It's America. I can say that against him. But can I? Can I? I mean, let's see if they try to arrest me. I ought to be able to say that. He can get out here on the sidewalk and he can say, I've been a good sheriff and we didn't kill anybody on Sevierville Pike. At least we didn't do it unjustifiably. And you take our word for it. There's no video recordings about it. And we did hire somebody from the state patrol, but they didn't lie on the report, even though I showed you it's obvious that they did. And we're good people. He's got a right to say that. He can say that all day long. Let him. I won't shoot him. I won't kill him. I won't subpoena him into court. I won't do anything violent about him. I'll stand out here on the sidewalk and say, vote these dirtbags out. But I'm not allowed to do that in America. I'm telling you, that's a social problem when you can't. And when they drag you into court time after time because you're running against the politicity, you're running against these criminal dirtbags, it's not just my problem, it's yours. And there's a point where it's not worth it to keep doing this for you. So buy my book, $149. I'll send you an electronic copy of it via email, a PDF document, the Charles Van Morgan story. We'll talk about their crimes with proof and evidence. We'll take down the Tennessee judiciary and the Tennessee government, people in power, not with violence, with something called the truth, with their own court documents. They don't care about the truth. They care about maintaining control over you, get your tax money, and living in their family and friends, living off your money. And they can't stand, they can't tolerate me exercising my First Amendment rights and saying, vote them out. Vote them out. That's all. Vote them out. Let's get together and vote Larry Russell out of office. I want to talk about this. Churches in Tennessee. And you should go to church. And you should worship God. But one of my uncles had never laid a hand on Larry Russell. Lives in Monroe County. Bobby Dirtbag Morgan, the thug that he is, hates his dead brother's son. Wow, I don't hate him. I just tell the truth about Dirty Bobby. He's a dirtbag. He's never hit Larry Russell because he's a good man. He told me he's a good guy. No, he's not. He's a dirtbag thug. He's a criminal. He's a crook. He's increased the death and fatality rate on Tennessee highways. He's a scumbag. He's a deceitful piece of shit. But my Uncle Bobby, and he's my uncle, I don't care who it is. If it's somebody that's standing against the safety and protection and well-being of people in Tennessee, if they do something dirty, I'll call them out. I don't care. He's a dirtbag. Bobby Morgan is a piece of dung. When I was 12 years old, he held me, and I wasn't even 12, I was about 9 or 10. He held me down, wouldn't even let me up. 9-year-old kid, he jumps on top of me, holds me down on the ground with me, begging him, let me up, let me up, let me up. I'm supposed to have acted violently toward him. I never acted violently toward him. He held a 9-year-old kid down. Was I acting violently toward a grown adult man? My dad dead, and Bobby Morgan hold me on the ground. Let me up, let me up. He wouldn't let me up. 9 years old, wouldn't let me up, wouldn't let me off the ground. I begged him to. I finally got up and got away and went to my other uncle's house. And I'm supposed to have been violent toward him? What a dirtbag Bobby Morgan is. I'm his dead brother's son, and he brags on Lionel Russell. Hold the Bible up. Amen. Praise the Lord to that Bible. You ever read that Bible, you dirtbag Bobby? You'll go to face the man that wrote it, Jesus Christ, that was inspired by God, where it says don't afflict fatherless children. I don't care if you are my brother-in-law. I didn't have a dad to protect me. Had I had a dad, I'd said, hey, your brother held me down. It maybe went and whooped your ass. So I pray to God that God judges you, and I'm not afraid to sneak out against you. I'll tell the truth about you. Hold a Bible up. Act like you're a Christian pastor and you're a dirtbag thug that hates on his dead brother's son. Wow, how merciless and crooked you are, and brags on and votes for Lionel Russell. Keep voting for him. There's a God in heaven, you dirty old man. I don't care who they are. They stand up against right and truth, abuse a 9-year-old. I'm going to say something about him. Bobby Morgan live all over the world, knowing he lives in Mount Vernon, Tennessee. My uncle probably votes for Lionel Russell. Said he was a good man. No, he's not. He's not a good man. He's like you. He's a fake, a fraud. He's a violent man, nasty man. And just because somebody in your family agrees with some nasty person because they're nasty, you got to put up with that. You got to put up with that. I'm not putting up with it. Bobby ought to go to church and open that Bible and read it and pray that God will forgive him. You're not going to run over your dead brother's son. Your dead brother's son grew up, and now I got something you'll never have. It's called the truth, dignity, and respect for other people, you sorry dirtbag. Read that Bible, and we'll find out who's right. I pray about you every day that you'll pay the price of what you did to me, you dirtbag man. Holding me down, abusing me as a child, and then abusing me when I was running for public office and bragging on somebody that's a threat to society. You think I'm afraid of you? I'm out here on the sidewalk, big boy. Yeah, you'd like to bring it to that, wouldn't you? All I'm saying is expose the corruption and vote these people out of office. So, yeah, you got a friend in my dead brother's, my dead father's brother, Lowell. Good for you. You ain't got no friend in me. You got an adversary, and you're dirty. You'll lie, and you'd like to kill me. All I'm doing is saying vote you out of office so I can take down your crooked signs that I paid for on the side of 411. So, Judge McMillan, we'll get into that. Can y'all hear me now? Does anybody else want to stand up and attack me? I'll just tell the truth about you. I'm not afraid of anybody except God. So, yeah, okay, we got a bunch of people in here. So thank y'all very much. So, yeah. Ooh, I'm not afraid of anybody. I tell the truth. Truth tell. You attack me, I'll fight you back. I don't give a damn who you are. You lie on me, I'll fight you. And your dead brother's son, then alleged to be a Christian. Hold that Bible up. Yeah. Wow. Open up, read it. You ever thought about that? So, even two of the people that mistreated me in my campaign spoke at my mother's funeral. What a chameleon. What a chameleon. What a chameleon. Acting like they was good people. They're not good people. You're not good people. You got to get on your knees and apologize to me, or you'll face God for what you do. Your dirtbag life that you've lived. Help your son. How about your dead brother's son? Didn't have a dad. Didn't have anybody teach him a career or anything. And you'd stomp on him. Well, I pray God stomps on you and exposes you for the dirty creep you are. You know, people tell me, it says in the Bible that God will cause people to fall in the ditch that they dug for you. And so be careful how big a ditch you dig. Because you're liable to be in the ditch that you're trying to trap somebody else in. That's biblical. And let me tell you, I'm doing God's work. I'm going to help God push you in the ditch. I'm just saying. I'll do God's work. The ditch you dug for me, I'll push you in it. You ain't getting nowhere with me. You done did your dirty. Now it's my turn. My turn. Yeah, people don't like that. They want to do you dirty. Then years later, well, it's okay. Remember I did that? And I'd do it again, but I'll just be a snake. Yeah, you ain't got me fooled one little bit, you piece of dirt. Scumbag people that hurt society. And are part of a major social problem in the United States of America. So we're almost down to the bridge. So we're talking about McMillan. I'll keep you in suspense. What that crook, dirty judge done. And I put out flyers about his nasty face all over the state of Tennessee talking about his crime. It's not defamation, it's true. He lied about me in a judicial court ruling, wouldn't even let me defend myself. I put his picture all over the state of Tennessee on hundreds of thousands of doors all over the state. I might do it again if I get funding. I'm calling these judges out. They're thugs, they're dirtbags. They're criminals that cause you to be put in jail wrongfully. And if I tell you what he did, you might agree it's a social problem and I should have done what I did. And I don't care what you think. God knows and God approved, I believe, of what I did. We got to fight evil. It ain't going away on stone. You can't pray it away when you're not doing anything about it. God expects you to do what you can do. Not just get on your knees and pray, and that's biblical too. Somebody comes hungry and wants water, and for you to just say, I'll pray for you, that's wrong. Give them a bottle of water and pray for them. That's biblical. It ain't detracting from the power of prayer. But when you can do something about it, it's a cop-out to say you'll pray. Do something about the problem. Help me do something about the problem. And we can make a difference. So, I'll tell you what Judge McMillan did. Yeah, we got a bunch of people. Here's what Judge McMillan did. Now, the attorney I got sat in his courtroom for 2 days, listened to his civil warrants for domestic violence, and for 2 days he found everybody guilty of domestic violence coming before his court. Every damn body that came in his courtroom, guilty, guilty, guilty. So my case was called. Of course, there's a bunch of stuff went on before that I'm going to tell you about. Been going against 100% shot that I'm going to be found guilty of a civil offense against a political rival. Yeah. Suing me in the court for no legitimate reasons, false lying on the warrant, while I'm out running against the government. How convenient. You got to come to court or we'll arrest you, maybe shoot you. The Knox County Sheriff's Department's been guilty of that before, haven't they? But there's no video. But take our word for it. Yeah, I don't take their word for a damn thing. Let's see the video. And if they do have a video, they'll interpret it wrong. They'll lie about it. They lie. Cheat, rob and steal and rape. Protect rapists. Knox County Sheriff's Department protect the rapists in the bomb garden or courthouse for years. I'd be ashamed of that patch. Now, they can't handle me saying that. I got a right to say that's what I think. That's what I know. They had to know. They were around him. That patch that they walked so proudly across that stage, it protected a rapist. Now, they can't bear me saying that. I can say that. They can contest that. Say all you want to. They got a podium. The sheriff can call a press conference right now. News stations from all over Tennessee would show up, and he could say that that's not true. We're an honorable agency. We do right. We fly right. He could say that. And he could call me a piece of trash, a dirty liar. There's nothing I can do about it. But he won't let me get out here and say that about him. I'd say that's kind of Russia, not the United States, not the First Amendment Constitution. Where'd the Constitution go? I'll stand on it. I ain't afraid of you, dirty Christian sheriff. Won't you read that Bible that you claim you hold in such high regard? You ought to change that dirty patch. So here we are. You ought to change that dirty patch that protected rapists. I'd be ashamed to wear that patch nowadays. A lot of deputy sheriffs are. They know. They know what it's about. It's not about protecting the public. And this is from an educated, life-lived perspective. It's about protecting the establishment. The rapists, murdering whoremongers. Wow, did he just say that? Yeah, I said it. I'll say it again louder. The Sheriff's Department, Knox County, is set up to protect the establishment against people like me that would say, not shoot them, not kill them, not do anything violent toward them, would say, based on the Constitution, my right to speak out, vote them out. They can't handle that. Oh man, they'll arrest you, put you in jail, throw you down, put their knee in your back, enough to put you in the hospital, sue you into court numerous times, and they'll get a judge. They're bought and paid for a judge. They already know what the ruling's going to be before they even go in court. They already know, guilty. And then the judge gets $6 a head in the courtroom. The Knox County judicial corruption system under Charlotte Tissue Allen gets thousands of your dollars. The Knox County courthouse got almost more of my mother's inheritance than I did. Isn't that wonderful how they do that? Jerk you into court, take your money, steal from you. That's what they do in Knoxville, Tennessee. They can't handle me saying that. Watch and see if they don't say, oh, he committed this heinous crime. I didn't do a damn thing except to say vote them out. They won't allow that. It goes against their power. They're crooked and violent and dangerous. Wicked people. So yeah, we got about 100 people in here. We're almost to the bridge. So here's what McMillan did. If they take me off YouTube, and I'm not promoting violence, I'm promoting voting. I am promoting speaking the truth to power, against power, and condoning voting them out of office. It's simple. Is there anything wrong with that? We're supposed to be able to do that in America. But let me tell you what, we can't. Now, you're going to sit around and tolerate that? I'm not. I'm doing something about it. I'm on YouTube right now talking about 1 million people in the past month. Vote these dirtbags out of office. They're nothing to be feared. They're cowards. If they weren't cowards, they'd be out serving you instead of condoning rapists from the courthouse, condoning false warrants, condoning their corruption. And there's good judges in that courthouse. They can't do nothing about it. They'll try to kill them. They'll try to destroy them. They'll destroy their career. Have you ever watched on television when they got a judge or somebody in public office that they say did wrong, and you're saying, the public is saying, they got you fooled. They're saying, yeah, they're finally getting some of them. Finally getting some of them. The ones that they're going after are probably the best people at the courthouse. It's the people in power that are hanging them out. So you really believe in the judiciary? I know some of these people that they're trying to get rid of. I voted for some of them. They're not wicked people. They've stepped on somebody's toes and they're trying to get rid of them. So the people you read in the papers that are public officials that they say, oh, they did this wrong or they did that wrong, they're some of the best people in public office. They've stepped on somebody's toe and uncovered something. So the ones you see that they're hanging out, they're the best ones, usually, sometimes. Sometimes now they've committed such an atrocious act that they can't protect them, but a lot of times they're hanging them out because they got something on them. So look at the backstory in things. So Judge McMillan subpoenas me into court after he's ruled against people for 2 days. Other judges didn't do that. 2 days, everybody guilty. He gets $6 for everybody he finds guilty for a civil offense. Domestic violence involving a relative that you live with, that they take your gun rights away, and any kind of domestic violence where you're anywhere related to somebody, cousins or whatever, distant relatives can go after you politically and have you dragged into court, take your inheritance away, and he'll find him guilty. Because if he doesn't find you guilty, and you walk out of court, a free person, no civil order, whether it's necessary or not, then he gets, if he doesn't find you guilty, he doesn't get any money. The courts don't get any money. Because the person that files the false civil warrant doesn't pay for the civil warrant. They can go down here to Nichols Family Court, Nichols Family Justice Center, which is Nichols Family Unjustice Center, one of the most crooked district attorneys, one of the crooks that allowed rape to go on right under his nose. And it's the Nichols Family Justice Center. Can you believe that? They name buildings after their own name, hoping it'll go on forever. Just remember the Nichols Unjustice Family Center. The liar, he lied under oath, using his legal knowledge to try to incriminate me, say stuff false about me that he knew was false, and then take it back after he'd already rung the bell. Good try, Nichols. You're guilty of what you said about me, I bet. It's called gaslighting. So, McMillan, we were sitting there in court. I'd like to have been out knocking on doors, telling people the marketplace of ideals what I thought about Tennessee government, how crooked they are, how the fatality rate's risen, how your family and friends are getting killed on Tennessee roadways because the government's bought by billionaires like Haslam. And knocking on doors and telling people that, which is my right under the Constitution. Tennessee Supreme Court case law has said that a political candidate between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. can knock on people's doors and they're not trespassing, and hand out political material. And now if they ask you to leave, you got to leave. But our rights say we got a right to initially walk up to the door and leave campaign material. So I was exercising that right. And then they unlawfully, with their criminal syndicate, give me a civil warrant to appear in Knox County Court to sit in front of Dirty Judge McMillan. So we were sitting there, should have been out knocking on doors, talking about how dirty the government is, but they won't let you do that. If you do that, they'll drag you into court and say, hey, this is legitimate. No, it's not. It's crooked. It's crooked. Would they have done that if it had been Bill Haslam, a billionaire? No, hell no. Would they have done that if it had been Governor Lee, the Christian? Hell no. He's a Christian. He's a good man. Yeah, he's a dirtbag thug that ought to get on his knees and ask God to forgive him for the atrocities that he's created all across the state of Tennessee. So he ought to be investigated for his crimes against humanity. He just promoted somebody that's stealing valor, knowing that, and he's a Christian. Yeah, and I'm going to say that. I don't care what they do, because I'll fight them. I'll fight them, and you should too. Help me. Contribute to the movement. Contribute to the movement. It is a movement can only go on if it's funded. So contribute to the movement. Buy my book, Charles Van Morgan, at gmail.com. Hit the square icon, request it, or the Cash App. $149 for electronic copy if you want a signed copy. Then send me a request. It costs a little more than that. I have to print the book. I'm printing them on demand. It'll tell you the full story, the Trooper Charles Van Morgan story. So we're almost to the bridge. And we'll read you some of my notes and tell you about what Dirtbag McMillan, crooked judge, sits on the county judgeship. Done one of their judges that got through their ethical law license procedure. He's not ethical. He's a crook. He's a criminal. He's a thug. He's a dirtbag. Hey, Lisa Perley, that's what you told me not to say. I'm saying it. I don't want your law license. I'm not participating in your criminal syndicate. If I have to put up with falsely incarcerating Tennesseans and Americans and stomp on the Constitution and stomp on soldiers' blood that you're doing, Lisa Perlin, you're a liar and a crook. And the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners is set up to protect the elite. They'll only give law license to the elite. I should be defending y'all in the courtroom, but they won't let me because they're thugs. So let's go to the other side. And they're criminals. They're crimes of the privilege, crimes of people in power. And that's what they do. They rob you of your government. So yeah, we got a bunch of people in here. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. So, Judge McMillan, what he did, we were sitting there in court with my 3 witnesses that were testifying in my favor that there was no need for any kind of court order against me. There's 3 witnesses. There were 5 people in the meeting at my mother's house, and one of my sisters wanted the house sold and wanted all the money from it, more than her fair share, and wanted it sold immediately, and we'd already voted that we were going to hang on to it for a while. She got outvoted. She wasn't listed, she's the oldest, she wasn't listed as the executor of the state because my mother didn't trust her, because she was on drugs, and a drug addict. Tammy Goodrich, a drug addict. Oh, she's real abused. Yeah, she abused her little brother. Yeah, wow, what a hero you are, mistreating your little brother, you dirtbag. Lives with a whoremonger. And there's a frequent visitor of Bobby Morgan that held me down when I was about 9 years old. What a real prize they are, a gift to the Tennessee court system. We got somebody inside that's going to destroy you. Know, you just expose your crooked. Drag me into court here. All the way from West Tennessee in Memphis. I was knocking on doors, passing out leaflets about how dirty Governor Bill Lee is, how dirty the GHB is, which I got a right to do. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. Tell me to get off your damn property, I would. I got a right to do that. It's called democracy. It's called the marketplace of ideals. It's called America. It's not Russia, or is it? In Russia, what would happen if you're knocking on doors running down Putin? It'd have you arrested. In America, what do they do when you're campaigning, talking about Bill Lee, the Christian? You'll get arrested. You'll face the court system. You can't do that. Yeah, hey, and you tell me, Russia, we need to be dealing with Russia. Russia's got bad problems. They're attacking other countries. What about America attacking people from within, using our own government against us? They can't even run their own government. It's shut down right now. So, wow. Look at the view. So, wow. Yeah. So, I get dragged into court. Let me, get dragged into court. Back up. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I get dragged into court in McMillan's court, sitting there with a lawyer. My 3 witnesses, 3 people that were there, that were going to testify in my favor. There's no need for social order protection. There's no need for that. That's unjustified. And they're going to testify in my favor. They're going to take the stand, swear under oath, testify in my favor. You think McMillan would allow that? He should in America, right? In America, you should be able to prove your innocence. Under the Constitution, we got a right to due process. Due process says we have a right to hearing before an unbiased, fair tribunal. You gonna get one? Hell no! You'll run into Steve McMillan that'll steal your money and cover a ball. He'll take your money for his damn retirement. Steal your mother's retirement. Judge McMillan, you stole my mother's retirement, you dirty thief. You're a crook. You ought to be investigating behind the very bars that you put people in. That's Judge McMillan. Now, he's voted into office because he fools a lot of people. He fools a lot of people. And I got it right, and I think a lot of people would agree with me. That is a social problem, a significant social problem that needs to be dealt with. He needs to be dealt with, not with violence. Look like that. He said some sick things in his courtroom. behind his cloak of judicial privilege and won't even let me go out here. I'm subject to civil laws. If he's not a dirtbag, let him sue me in court. I think I can prove he is. I think he is. One of his dirty judges would let him get by with raping in that courthouse, which is what a lot of them did. It's Baumgardner. So I sat in his court, and I'm making a short story long, keeping you in the show. Well, the wind's blowing pretty hard here, but we'll get to the other end of the bridge and set up shop. So while we were sitting in the courtroom, there was a lady that was older that her grandson had been arrested at her house because he broke a window in her house, and I think she was mad at him and because the window was broke, and she might have did wrong and have him put in jail, I don't know, but evidently she was frustrated, man, and sheriff's deputies came out and arrested him for domestic violence, and he was in jail. So we're sitting here listening to that case before they had mine. They had mine way later in the day. It's funny how they make everybody get in there at 9 o'clock. The judge struggles in after he laid out half drunk. I'm not saying it's film, but some of them half drunk, stand up half the night, maybe about 9 or 10. After you sit in court for a couple hours waiting for the dirtbag, then they have several cases in front of you. Well, that judge is living the high line and drunk off your tax dollars, coming in late doing whatever the hell they want to do, covered by complete judicial immunity, which is pretty sick. If we're going to have judicial immunity, we need to have a well-oiled system to remove dirty judges, and they don't remove dirty judges. They keep them on the bench. They do whatever the hell they want to do. It's a system of injustice, a major social problem. The rogueness of our Tennessee judges and what they're allowed to do is pretty sick and pathetic. So we're sitting there listening to that lady, older lady, and her grandson is in jail because he got arrested for busting out the window at his grandmother's house. She had him arrested. She's been mad at him. I don't know what the reason. Maybe he got violent, busted the window on purpose. I don't know. But as far as the court system is concerned, if the court can't prove it, that's irrelevant, because our system of justice is set up on the government, and the person that's suing you into court has the burden of proof. Otherwise, they'll drag every damn body in here, and you got to prove you're innocent. That's not the way we've agreed to do it in the United States of America under our Constitution. It's their place to prove we're guilty, not our place to prove that we're not guilty. But they flip it. They got you guilty, and they don't care what you prove, you're still guilty. And that's dangerous as hell, and that's the way our court system goes. So this lady was sitting there, and her grandson was in jail for a window busted at her house. And the judge asked her, swore her in, she swore under oath, tell the truth, the whole truth, the truth, nothing but the truth, so help her God. And several sheriff's deputies standing around, a female lieutenant standing there. And the judge asked her, so why are we here today? And he had a civil order protection on her grandson, had him in jail. And I'm just telling you what I've seen, and it's on recording. They record the court cases. But of course, if it goes against the judge, he does something illegal, dangerous or violent, then it gets destroyed. They won't look at the evidence. So she's testifying against her son. She's testifying against her son, her grandson. It's in jail for busting a window out. And the judge asked her, what are we here for? After she sworn in, she said her grandson busted a window at her house. And they're determining whether he's guilty of that crime or not. That civil offense, domestic violence, and whether he should stay in jail. If he's not guilty, he gets released out of jail. They'd already arrested him and accused him of that based on a warrant. not anything signed by the lady. So she said, well, my grandson busted a window out. This is Judge McMillan asked her. She said, well, my grandson busted a window out of the house, but he said he did it by accident, and he may have. So if you bust a window out by accident, you haven't committed a criminal act. You haven't committed domestic violence, domestic disturbance. You've done something by mistake. Anybody can accidentally bust a window out, and that's what the witness said. So there's no case. The judge should immediately, based on her testimony, freed him. Did Judge McMillan do that? He loses $6 a head. That's all you argue him. Hell no. Hell no. He said. So how does it make you feel when he did that? So he's wanting her to say that she's afraid of him. He's baiting her, the judge, baiting the witness. The judge is a prosecutor, to say that she's in fear. And she said again, it makes me mad. Anybody get mad? Even an accident, you accidentally bust your tire hitting a corner, makes you mad. That's not a crime. So she said again, she said it makes me mad. And he said, no. So he's baiting her. I want you to say you're in fear is what he's trying to get her to say. He says again to her, so, no. How does it make you feel? So already, that's 2 times. And she said, it makes me angry. That's not in fear. That's not nothing where they need a social order protection. So the judge is a little perturbed that he's going to have to let this guy go. And a sheriff's deputy, Knox County Sheriff's deputy, under oath. And while she's under oath, walks up to the lady, and even my attorney heard it, walks up to the lady that's under oath and starts witness tampering, because they're going to keep this guy in jail. It doesn't matter. He is staying in jail. We're not letting him go. We don't care about the Constitution. We don't care about due process. We don't care about if somebody was unarmed or you woke him up in the middle of the night, we're going to shoot you, whatever. We don't care about hiring liars that have lied for other departments. We don't care about anything justice and honorable. That's the patch of the sheriff. Yeah. So they were bound and determined to keep him in jail. They're bound and determined to keep millions of people in jail all across the United States of America. They got more people in jail in this country than they do in any nation in the world. Justifiably? Hell no. What people ought to be in jail is we need to clear out some room for some people that they put in there justifiably and haul some of these judges' asses off to jail for stomping on the Constitution. What they do is much more dangerous to society, much more of a social problem than any one person that busted out a window could ever be. So he asked her 2 times and she didn't give the right answer, and he said, oh no, I'm gonna have to let this man out of jail. We can't prove the crime, or there's no crime. So we're gonna make one up. So a lieutenant with the sheriff's department walks up to him and walks up to the lady under oath and starts witness tampering. She says to the lady, tell the judge you're in fear. So it's a lady with a badge on, sheriff's deputy, telling the lady that's under oath what to say. She's going to say, no, deputy, I'm not saying that. Of course, she said, I'm in fear. So the judge asked her again, 3rd time, had to prime her 3 times, and she wouldn't answer the question so they could continue to incarcerate somebody. They film this. It's filmed, but the film gets lost, because the judge committed a crime, incarcerated somebody illegally, violated the Constitution. They do it every damn day in that dirty courthouse. You want your turn? Don't do nothing about it. It's coming, I bet. Or could, or one of your family members. That's the truth. And if they can't get it the justifiable way, a sheriff's deputy will tamper with a witness to commit a crime. That judge should be in jail. That lieutenant should be in jail for violating the Constitution, for violating federal laws, the federal Constitution. But, so she said she was in fear, and the judge hammers his gavel down, they keep him in jail. So somebody went to jail that shouldn't have been in jail, they couldn't prove their case. She was wanting to back out of it because maybe she got mad and she shouldn't have had him arrested. But they don't care. They get you in there, locked down, you're going down no matter what. You don't have a due process right under Judge McMillan. I'd vote him out. He's a dirtbag, he's a criminal, he's a thief. He don't like me saying that. Hey, Judge, in your courtroom, you got police officers all around. There's a public sidewalk. I'm allowed to say that. Bring your thugs out here and see what the hell happens. Just so I can make this calm and peaceful. We'll sit down and have a little conversation about how you violate the law. They'll try to kill me is what they'll try to do. They're dirtbags, they're crooks and criminals. They can't stand for me out here calling them crooks. That's even on tape what he did. Now, I even reported that to the Board of Judicial Conduct, and they said he didn't do anything wrong. There was no violation of law, right? Yeah, there was. He stomped all over the Constitution. Walked all over it. So, and they asked my attorney. If there was any violation of law, and he said, of course he's not going to make a complaint against a sitting judge. They'll take your law license if you do the right thing. They got your law license over your head. That's the reason why they won't give me my law license, because when these judges would do something illegal, I would not cause a disruption in the court. I would report it and get the video and say, hey, look what this judge is doing. Present it to the news. Where's the news and all these judges dirty, freaking corrupts and stuff? They're out here getting the loan officers on the street videos. Get these dirty judges videotapes what they do in an open courtroom. No, they won't do that because they're in power. They're not allowed to while they commit their atrocities in Tennessee courtrooms. You think Russia commits atrocities? Judge McMillan down here is a dirty thug that ought to be in jail. He ought to be damn under the damn jail. Quitting taking people's freedoms away based on lies and witness tampering by the Knox County Sheriff Department. So yeah. It's crooked as hell. It's a social problem. And my attorney said I didn't make the complaint. And then they lied about it. He said that the judge didn't do anything wrong. That's not what he said. He said he didn't make the complaint. You know why he didn't make the complaint? Because if he hadn't made the complaint, they'd take his law license away from him. And even used that, taking my law license, not letting me have my law license, because I'd made a legitimate complaint against the judge. So the system is set up where if you make a legitimate complaint against a judge violating the Constitution, you don't disrupt court or do anything. You write it down and send it to the Board of Judicial Conduct. They don't use that complaint that you've made to investigate the complaint. They had a videotape. They could have pulled up the videotape, seen the whole damn thing in there where the judge violated the Constitution, put somebody in jail illegal. They didn't use it to investigate that. What they did was they used it to say, there's the guy that's going against us, even though it's promoting welfare of people, not allowing people to get put in jail. And then they use that against me to not give me my law license. So they use the complaint procedure as a system to find out who is going to uphold good for the populace and against them. That's what they use a system for. So if you complain, good luck with that. They'll use it to brand you and mark you. And so buy my book, Charles Van Morgan Story, $149 if you want a electronic copy. I'll send you one. It'll go up in the future. I'm not selling it probably for not any less. If you want the story of the corrupt judicial system, on my screenshot you'll see the video. You'll see it. The front copy of the book, and so we'll talk some more about social problems, and that's a big one, is the crooked judicial system in the state of Tennessee. And then my case was called. I got part of this on video. And he wouldn't even let me defend myself. He wouldn't even let me answer questions to explain what happened in their alleged fraudulent incident. He wouldn't even let me explain it. Due process gives you the right to explain your conduct. And he wouldn't even let me explain it. Didn't want it on the record for the world to see. And I had witnesses that said that there was no need for social order protection. And he threatened to put my witnesses in jail. So the people that were going to testify in my favor, that swore under oath, got up there, were acting decent and following all the court rules. When they started to speak, he threatened to put them in jail. So not only do you not explain yourself, your witnesses will go to jail. That's the the McMillan Courthouse down here. They'll do that to you too. That's a major social problem. We have no justice in the Tennessee courtroom. It's dangerous as hell. You'll go in there and get killed, shot, and put in jail if you don't like it. And if you get on the road and protest it, like you should be able to in the United States of America under the Constitution, then they'll throw you down and put you in jail too. So my life is in danger for stand up, not against some rogue thug comes out here, against people like McMillan, people like the Sheriff's Department. They killed somebody about a mile from my house. So it's a serious social problem, and we're not going to fight violence with violence. The way to fight them is to band together, a social movement, power to you, the people, and vote them out. Vote them out of office. Put somebody in power. It starts with the governor's office that is willing to revamp the whole system. It calls for major change. So let's look at what we need to do. How Lionel Russell got promoted. Here's how Lionel Russell got promoted. It's right here in this right here. A major contributor. Well, a major contributor. Okay, well, my phone's gonna. A major contributor under the governor. My phone's wet. A major contributor under the governor contributed money to his political campaign, and that's how Larry Russell, one major contributor of Lee Madisonville, who gave the governor 2022 campaign 5,000 records show. Lee wrote Conley on July 29, 2025, asking that Trooper Lowell Russell be advanced to sergeant. 5 days later, calling forward the request on to Fred Phillips, then the Commissioner of Department of Safety. Russell's name was then added to the proposed promotion list. So Lowell Russell was promoted for $5,000. So troopers in the HPP for $5,000. You don't have to go out and arrest drunk drivers. For $5,000. You can get promoted to sergeant. That's the price of a sergeant position in Tennessee. Tennesseans, ain't you interested? Isn't that real good that instead of a trooper that is out saving lives, protecting property, and a benefit to society, to you, that they're paying money for these rogue people to get elected to government office? They don't care about public safety and they're getting promoted to public office. So that's how Lionel Russell, now he's a representative himself. So how Lowell Russell got promoted was real simple. How Lionel Russell promoted to sergeant that ultimately led to his massacre on Tennessee roadways is he got promoted by $5,000 to a political campaign. So you can take a picture of that. So he got promoted to $5,000. So troopers on the road, don't worry about arresting drunk drivers. Don't worry about keeping the road safe. $5,000 to get you on the promotion list, and he ultimately got promoted. Now he's a sitting elected state representative responsible for hundreds of Tennesseans killed on the roadway. So that's one of my rough notes. So a sitting state duly elected state representative, Larry Russell, is responsible for hundreds of people killed on Tennessee roadways because he took the leading trooper, me, off the road. I didn't get on the highway patrol for $5,000. I got on the highway patrol because I have an advanced degree in sociology, criminology. And now I have a doctor of jurisprudence, so he's a lawmaker. Wow, fancy lawmaker. A legislator, lawmaker. It's because, how do you get that position? Because he got a doctor of jurisprudence, he knows about the law, and he studied it for 5 years and passed bar exams and passed law exams. has maybe a sociology degree, so he might know some of the effects of his decisions. No, it's because how much money did I have to pay for him to get that? I'll tell you who paid for that. You did, because he's got signs on the side of 411. I'm branding him a hero when he's an idiot for getting hurt. So he's a hero because he got hurt. Can't be a trooper anymore because he got hurt, but his brother is. His brother's a sergeant. Look at that nepotism. So that's how he got promoted. Get my little truth in there. So let's look at the definition of a social problem. Definition of public crimes of the privilege. Illegal or unethical acts committed by people in positions of power, wealth, or authority who use status to avoid accountability, like Judge McMillan, like Lion Lowell Russell. He's a criminal. He's raised a fatality rate. They use that position, sit behind a judicial bench, the close of judicial privilege, absolute immunity, to commit crimes against the populace. That's what they do. That's the social problems. And why do we need to worry about social problems, especially in the government? Because it destroys public trust in justice, government, and fairness. Systematic injustice makes life harder for honest people. It's about protecting the foundation of a fair and equal society. That's why we need to worry about these crooked people in Tennessee power. Because it destroys the fairness of the system. It's a system of injustice right now, and perpetrated by people in power that get damn by with it. And if you do anything about it, like me, they'll put you in jail, subpoena you to court, unlawfully, threaten to put you in jail, beat on you, put you in the hospital. And them, they're dangerous to themselves, and they'll put signs out advertising how great they are. So here's what a social problem is. It is a condition affecting a significant number of people. Pet peeves are not social problems unless they affect a significant number of people. So a social problem is not just something that you don't like. Like say you don't like a particular judge because he ruled against you, because you did something wrong. That's a pet peeve. You don't like that judge. You can try to judge shop and try to get another judge, but that's not a social problem. But it is a social problem when a judge puts people in jail unjustifiably all across people that come in this courtroom every day, all day long. That's a social problem, a major social problem. It's a social problem when people are unjustly treated in our judicial system, which they are in the state of Tennessee. It's a structural and systematic social problem that allows people to get killed. And that is a social problem. It is in ways considered undesirable. So it is considered undesirable. And that's significant because not everybody will consider what you consider undesirable. Like the injustice in the courtrooms. These judges don't consider that undesirable. It makes them money. Judge McMillan don't consider that undesirable for him to be able to do whatever he wants to do in a Tennessee courtroom. Violates the Constitution. Attorney generals don't think that's undesirable. They get rulings from them. Everybody gets convicted. Everybody goes to jail. They get your money. They can quell dissent. It's a value judgment. If you think you value the Constitution, the freedom of speech, you value fair process, you value the Constitution. If you value fairness and due process of law and what this country is set up on, then you think it's a social problem. If you're a judge or prosecutor or district attorney, somebody that wants to get something through the court system, somebody that wants to lock somebody up, somebody in government power that wants more of the public's money for nothing, then you don't think that's a social problem. It's working out just fine. So it's a value judgment. So sure, there's a lot of people that are not going to agree with everything I say. They value different things. I value honesty and fairness in the judicial system. I value judges that are unbiased and fair, and prosecutors that won't prosecute cases that aren't right. I value law enforcement officers that don't tamper with witnesses, that don't lie, cheat, rob, and steal, that don't protect rapist judges in a courthouse. That's what I value. So they got a different value system. So not everybody will agree with my value system. So a social problem is a value system. Some people think that stuff's okay. I don't think it's okay. I hope that you don't. So a social condition is something that affects a large number of people in ways considered undesirable by a substantial number of people. So you got to have the value system, and it is also about which it is felt something can be done about. The belief in the possibility of a treatment that causes people to consider it possible. So not only is it a problem that affects a significant number of people, not a pet peeve, not only is it something that a large number of people value think it's undesirable, not everybody, but a lot of people think it's undesirable, then it's also about something that there's hope, that there is a treatment for, because if there's nothing we can do about it, then it's not a social problem because we can't do nothing about it. It's just the way it is. And it's the way we got to take it. But we can do something about the social problem of the unjust judges and the corrupt politicians in our courtrooms like Larry Russ. We can do something about him. We can do something about the governor in office that perpetrates falsehoods. And what we can do about these people is we can band together and vote them out. The governor got elected based on a little over 1 million votes. And there are 4 million people, over 4 million people, that either didn't vote because they weren't registered or were registered and didn't vote. So there are over 4 million people, a lot more than his million, that didn't participate that could have. And there's a lot of people that couldn't vote because you got a felony that you could get your rights back, or you can influence other people to vote that can. So there's a lot we can do about it. They only have a small percentage of the vote. We only need 27% of the people that didn't participate to do something about it. So overwhelmingly, there is a lot of hope, a hell of a lot of hope. If we band together, we can get rid of these people. We can vote them out. They'd like to kill me. All I want to do is vote them out. They'd like to put me in jail. All I want to do is vote them out, investigate them, and then put them in jail after proper investigation and due process. They don't even want to give you that right. They're not just. They're not fair people. I am. So I'm asking people in Tennessee, if you didn't participate in the election, you have more power than they do. There's a lot of hope. If you're not registered, get registered. Go vote. If you're registered but didn't participate, go vote. There's more of us than there are them, a lot more. All we need is 27% of the people. We don't even need 100% of the people that didn't participate. We only need 27%. Let's get all 100% and blow them off the map at the polls. But we don't need all of them. There's a lot of hope. It's something we can do something about, a lot about. And that's what I'm here promoting. Let's see how many people we got in here. So yeah, there's a hell of a lot of hope. Hell of a lot of hope. So about which is felt something can be done. The belief in the possibility of a treatment that causes people to consider it a problem. So it is a problem. We can do something about it, and we are going to do something about it. We're going to vote these people out of office. And so also something people can do something about through collective action, through banding together, collective action. The way we can get the social movement going is through gossip. Gossip is substantiated facts about stuff. So spread the gossip. Gossip's not a bad thing. It protects people. Spread the gossip about how crooked the government is, about how illegitimate they are, about how they put people in jail unlawfully, about how they shoot and kill people unlawfully, about how dangerous the government is to you. to your friends, neighbors, and family and encourage them to get registered and go vote. And if you can't vote, encourage other people to vote. And I'll present somebody that I think is going to represent Tennesseans and revamp the court system and the fairness, bring back fairness to the system. I might run myself, I don't know. If I say I'm running now, I have to report campaign finance, so I don't know if I will, but if you want to contribute to Power to the People movement, I'm not on the ballot. I'm not saying I'm running, so I ain't got to report it to their road reporting system like their road system to report judges. So it's something we can do something about through collective action. And it's like a butcher that is doing his weights and charging people more. That's not a social problem. Police can do something about that. No general public discussion about that. No crystallization of value judgment. No exploitation of alternatives, determinative of treatment or organized pressure. Needed social problems are complex. So this social problem is complex. And the way we need to start is banding together and vote these people out of office. So I've already mentioned the bed store up here on Chapman Highway. Buy a bed from this veteran up here at the Chapman and Moody. He let me put a sign out when I was running for public office. And also there's a lady that's going to sell University of Tennessee football shirts at the old Kaz Walker store where it used to be back in the day. Right across the street from Shoney's on Chapman Highway. She's got beautiful shirts. I think they're about $50. I bought one from her, so go over there and buy a shirt next Saturday. It's the old Kaz Walker store. It's right across from Shoney's on Chapman Highway. Very sweet lady, sells beautiful shirts. If I had the money, I'd buy another one. So if you want me to buy another one of her shirts, then contribute the money and I'll buy one. Social crime of privilege. Tennessee court in Knox County puts people in jail. Useless complaint procedure rigged to protect those in power and put you in jail. It's a social problem, system rigged in favor of younger people too. You know, older people in here, the system's rigged in favor of these younger people. They are committing age discrimination against you. Leon Marshall was a younger guy. He worked for the Highway Patrol for a few months and got fired for legitimate reasons. He wouldn't obey the orders of his supervisors. That never happened to me. I got all fives on mine. He arrested somebody unlawfully. That never happened to me. And the Tennessee Highway Patrol justifiably fired him. He went to law school just like me. I was in law school when I was still working for the Highway Patrol, trying to get the hell out of there. He went to law school after he got fired justifiably. He's much younger than me. Leon Marshall, you can look it up. The stuff's publicly available. How you sort it out is up to you, but I'll tell you how it's sorted out the way it really is. Now, he's much younger than me. He went to law school after he got fired justifiably. I was in law school. I was working for the Highway Patrol because I wanted to get the hell out of that dirty organization. Try to make a life for myself because I didn't like the way they were. They didn't care about public safety. $5,000 for promotions. You should promote people that promoted public safety. And that's how people got promoted. The people at the top were the most crooked. So Leon Marshall got fired, and then he went to law school. And he went before the Board of Law Examiners to get his law license after he got justifiably fired. They gave him his law license, younger guy. I went before the Board of Tennessee Law Examiners, wrongfully fired from the Highway Patrol. An older person, in my 50s, he was in his 30s or late 20s. And although he got fired justifiably, they gave him his law license because he's a younger guy. And maybe somebody he knew, somebody in their 50s that don't have a lot of choices. When you're in your 50s, you can't join the military, you can't do a lot of things. He had a lot of choices, and they wouldn't let me in my 50s because when you're older, you know the dirty, and you know you don't got to put up with that. So they won't give me my law license, and they give younger people their law license. older people, they discriminate against us. The government, people in government power discriminate against us. They want some young idiot in there that will do whatever they tell them to. They've done fired them. They know they better fly the way they want them to, not fly right. So they discriminate against people that are older. We need to stand up. Older people vote. Let's vote these dirtbags out of office. So some fallacies about social problems. And some fallacies about social problems. So see how many people we got in here. Wow, we got 135 people in here. Here's some fallacies about social problems. We'll keep on talking as long as people are listening. Some fallacies about social problems are, these are some things that people think about social problems, but they aren't true. So people agree what are the social problems. So, people agree about social problems. No, they don't. People disagree about social problems. It's like I said, judges don't think they're a social problem. Yeah, they are. And some wealthy argue poverty is good for people. Other people, that is. Wealthy people think poverty is good. Not them, but they think, other than themselves, but they think poverty is good. So a lot of people don't agree about what problems are social problems and what aren't. I think, and I hope you do, that the judicial system, the people in government power, are a major social problem that causes a lot of death, destruction, and sorrow on Tennessee roadways. Hopefully you agree with me. Maybe you don't. You have a different value system than me. I value the First Amendment, the Constitution. My right to stand on a public sidewalk and criticize the government. The government's got a right to stand out on the sidewalk and do that too. They criticize me from their false judicial rulings. They got a lot more power than me, but they won't even tolerate somebody contesting them. Look at the evidence. Look at Leon Marshall. So find out how old he is and see if he's got his law license now. He does and I don't. What's the difference? The difference is because I'm older and because I tell the truth, I'm not afraid of them. So also, these are fallacies about social problems. Social problems are natural and inevitable. So they're just natural and inevitable problems. A natural law, a delightful way of avoiding it, doing nothing. I am only one social problem inevitable. Certain social arrangements make certain outcomes inevitable. So people think that social problems are inevitable and there's nothing we can do about it. That's a fallacy. That's not true. Social problems are not inevitable. It is not inevitable that you go down to a courthouse and you get a judge that will automatically find you guilty and step all over the Constitution. There is a way where we can have honest judges and unbiased, fair judicial procedure. One way that we can have that is not to give them legitimacy where it's not due. There's nothing wrong with that. They thrive on legitimacy. Hey, we're legitimate. We got a board of judicial conduct. It doesn't work. They're not legitimate. It's not inevitable. We can vote them out and get a fair, just system. It's a cop-out. I've heard people say, well, it's that way everywhere, so let's just sit on our hands. That's a cop-out. That's a cop-out. It's like a bum sitting on the side of the road and, well, food costs too much. Get up and get a job. Go to work. Do something about stuff. Social problems are not inevitable. They are solvable by their very nature and definition. A large number of people have hope that there's something we can do about these issues. And if you believe there's something we can do about it, then there is. Absolutely there is. I'm promoting voting. Join Power to You, the people. Like, share, comment, or contribute. Resource mobilization theory. A social movement can't thrive without money. Buy my book. And so there are things we can do about it. They're not inevitable. It's not inevitable that we have to continue to have a government under people that allege to be Christian, that are transvestites, that promote people that are violating, they're still invalid. That's not inevitable. It's not inevitable at all. So social problems are not inevitable. So we got attack. Somebody, okay. So social problems are not inevitable. That's a fallacy. We can do something about it. And we should do something about it. These are fallacies about social problems. So another thing is, and I'm a Master of Arts in Sociology. I know this stuff is not stuff I'm making up. Top of my head. So another fallacy is social problems are normal. Social problems are the logical. Social problems are abnormal. No, they're not. They're not abnormal. They're problems of the logical and understandable and inevitable products of present social values and practices. So they're not abnormal. They're the judge down here doing what he's doing, put people in jail. That's not abnormal. It sounds strange I'll say that, but it's not. It is because of a social system that doesn't do anything about it. It is the logical, understandable, and inevitable products of present social values and practices. So it's not abnormal. It is the logical, inevitable practice of keeping the vote people in office that we're voting for. We keep doing that. It's not abnormal that you're going to have that trash up there. You keep voting for trash, you're going to get up trash. That's not abnormal. That is just an understandable, inevitable product of keeping people like Lowell Russell in office. It's not abnormal. You can vote for trash, they're going to be full of trash. It's completely understandable. It's a product of social values people have. 4 million people. We need to have a social value to go to the polls and vote them out. So the fallacy that social problems are normal is wrong. It's normal. It's a normal value that people have that's okay, and it's not okay. It's not okay. And as long as we allow that value to continue, then it'll continue. But social problems are not abnormal. They're what's normal, expected under this value that we have, that we think it's important for us to have just systems of people in power. Social problems are caused by bad people. Social problems persist because nice people tolerate and support the conditions which produce them. So social problems aren't because bad people are in Tennessee. It's not the reason why there's social problems. That's a fallacy that social problems are caused by bad people. The populace in Tennessee is not bad people. It's not caused by bad people. Social problems are caused by nice people that tolerate this. Let it get by with it. Nice people have allowed this to happen. And maybe at some point I was guilty of that. But I'm on the right side now. And nice people need to stop tolerating this. So that's a fallacy that nice people, let me say that again. Social problems are caused by bad people. That's a fallacy. That is not true. Social problems are caused by bad people. It's false. Social problems persist. They continue because nice people, you and me, tolerate and support the conditions which produce them. We tolerate a governor that does this stuff to us. We tolerate government officials that have shut down the government. We tolerate judges that put people in jail. We tolerate it. Nice people have tolerated this. Let's stop tolerating this. Let's be nice people that don't tolerate this. So social problems aren't caused by bad people. It's caused by good people that don't take action. That don't take action. So this is right out of a sociology textbooks all over the world, not stuff I'm making up. So us nice people, the populace in the state of Tennessee, the cure is stop tolerating, go to the voting polls and vote these dirtbags out of them. Another fallacy about social problems is that, and my page is wet here, and is that all people will like to see the problem solved. So the fallacy about social problems is all people would like to see it solved, and that's not true. There are some people that benefit off some social problems. They reap a benefit off of it, so they don't want it solved. They reap a benefit off something bad that's going on. You know, when people are prejudiced and black people couldn't run for office. White people benefited off that. They didn't want black people to run for office because they didn't want the competition, even though it was wrong. There's a lot of social problems that there's a lot of people that want that social problem to continue. These judges like the system it is. They're getting super wealthy off your money, off finding people guilty and getting $6 a head. There's a lot of people that benefit off social problems and they don't want it solved. So it's a fallacy that all people would like to see the social problem solved. For every problem, there are people who do not want the problem solved. They benefit from it. Existing power structures benefit from this social problem. They don't want it solved. They'll try to fight that it won't be solved. They'll try to shut me up. If they do, I'll be on Rumble or Twitter or Facebook or Telegram. They benefit, or their values do not define it as a problem. So judges don't define them being able to do whatever the hell they want as a social problem. They think they're right. They think they deserve your money. They don't define it as that. So a fallacy is that all people do not see a social problem as a problem. That all people would like to see the social problem in. They want it to continue. There's forces on the other side that want something to continue. So we're in a fight. We are in a fight. Another fallacy of social problems is that something that's not true that people think about social problems, that is not true, is that problems will solve themselves. Now that's a big one. They'll solve themselves. They'll just go away. Time heals all wounds, and time wounds all heals. Problems will go away on their own. Problems will solve themselves. Automatic, inevitable progress theory. That's not true. That's not true. Problems will not solve themselves. That is a beautiful rationalization for inactivity, systematic feeling for the unfortunate that requiring sacrifice of money or time, both humanitarian and thrifty. No social scientist accept inevitable progress. So it will not go away on its own. Problems will not go away on its own. That's a fallacy of social problems. Things will gradually protect themselves. Inevitability. We don't have to do anything about it. We don't have to spend money. We don't have to do nothing about it. That they'll just get well on their own. It's not true. The fact that it might cost us money or time sacrifice to go to the polls and vote or whatever we need to do to cure the social problem. It's an easy way, it's a cop-out to say, well, it'll just take care of itself. No, it won't. No, it won't. Things will get worse. They will not correct themselves unless we actively intervene in these social problems that are our responsibility. By definition, they're social problems. Even if they don't directly affect you, it is your obligation to see that everybody gets due process and fair treatment in the Tennessee courtroom, that everybody gets treated fairly by the Tennessee government. That the government is not shut down, that's everybody's problem. If they're in government now, why is the government shut down at the federal level? People should be voted out of office. So that's a fallacy of social problems. That they'll solve themselves. No, they won't. They will not solve themselves. That's a cop-out. It's an easy way to say we don't need to spend no money or time, just inevitable progress theory. No, we have to actually initiate and do something about it, which is what I'm doing almost every day out here saying, let's go vote, go together, go vote, spend my time, effort, and money and resources. I've ran for public office twice. I've spread the message all across Tennessee. Things won't solve themselves. Now, I don't know if they will, but I have hope that they will. I have hope. This is getting out to almost 1 million people in the past little over almost 2 months. So I'm doing my best to help me out. Help the social movement out. Power to you, the people. Join Power to you, the people. It won't solve itself. If you don't join, you will flop. If you don't contribute, resource mobilization theory, if you don't buy the book, if you don't like and share, if you can't do anything else, these problems will continue and they will get worse. Time wounds all heals, and time wounds all heals is true. But time wounds all heals. Time heals all wounds. True. But time wounds, all heals. So it won't get better. It won't get better. It'll get worse. And it'll get worse for your children after you. Things will get worse for your children. Let's have a government where the governor meets with you at least once a week in different cities and listens to the people in the great state of Tennessee and goes to the governor's office and does what you want to do, and not his cronies, not dirty judges, not people that benefit from the existing power arrangement. We need to go to the governor's mansion, have somebody in the governor's mansion that will do what you ask them to do, and it will not change on its own. It will not, hello, good morning. It will not get better on its own. It's not inevitable. Unless we do something about it, it will get worse. The jails will get fuller, judges will get richer, you may go to jail, the Constitution will be trumped on. We have to stop it now at the voting booth. It won't get better, it'll get worse. I'll say that again so you get what I'm saying. Time heals all wounds, but time wounds all heals. So we need to do something about it. A fallacy. Problems won't automatically solve themselves. And the next fallacy about social movements, social problems, is getting the facts will solve the problem. Facts must be interpreted before they have meaning. A fact has meaning only as it is interpreted according to one's values. There is no real poverty in America. Everyone who needs medical care can get it. So facts, knowing the facts will solve the problem. And that's not true. That's a fallacy of social problems. Just because we know the facts about social problems that's not going to cure it. It depends on people's value systems. It depends on how they look at the facts. If you think that everybody needs medical care in America can get it, and you don't have the right facts, and that's not true. If you think that there's no starving children in America, then you're wrong. That there is. A lady argued with me, I didn't argue with her, saying that there's no starving children in Knox County, and that we're getting kids fat, they got so much free food to eat. If you believe that, I can't have a reasonable conversation with you, because there's a lot of starving children in Knoxville, Tennessee. And there's going to be more starving children when food stamp program dries up, which is getting ready to dry up next month. So if you think the government is running officially at the federal level and at the state level, then we can't even agree on the facts, because that's not true. It's not. We can agree that the court system is rogue. A lot of people agree with that. But just knowing the facts is not enough. It's how we value the facts, how we value children going hungry. If we have a value system that says we shouldn't allow that, if we have a value system that says people deserve medical treatment, then just knowing the facts that people go without, it's not going to help. We have to value that everyone should have medical treatment. That there should be that should have life-saving medical treatment. That there should be no starving children in the United States of America, a civilized country, and there is. And they're getting ready to be worse. The value that the food stamp program is getting ready to go dry in a few days is a fact. Just knowing that fact does nothing about it. We have to have a value system that says we're not going to tolerate that. We're not going to continue voting for people that allow that stuff to happen. And I don't think it's the president's fault. If that had happened under Joe Biden, I would have thought it was his fault. Donald Trump's done a lot of things for poor people. Joe Biden did a lot of things for poor people. It's not about the president's office. It's about other people in other offices. Joe Biden did a lot to help poor people. I'm not against either president. I prayed for both of them when they were in office. It's not a value system that hates on a president. That's an easy detractor. We can hate the president all day long. He's elected. Let's pray for him and support some of his policies and stop shutting down the government, depending who's in the White House. So, if you value the fact that everybody every child should eat, everybody that needs life-saving medical care, and stop from pain through the medical care. If you value that we shouldn't in a civilized society have that happen, then just knowing the fact that that is happening is not enough. We have to do something about it. So the last thing, the fallacy about social problems is that problems can be cured without institutional changes. We don't have to make major changes. We can just elect Marsha Blackburn to office and it'll solve that. You know, another Republican office and that will solve it. We don't have to have institutional changes. We can keep doing what we're doing. Let's keep doing it. It'll work out fine. If you believe, that's a fallacy. If you believe problems can be cured without institutional change, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. A complete solution of nearly any problem would require sweeping changes in present institutions. Now, that's just the facts. It ain't pretty. That's what I'm asking for. And it is possible. So problems can be cured without institutional changes. That's not true. They can't be changed without institutional changes. That's a fallacy that just think we just vote another Republican, we can just vote Marsha Blackburn, we can even vote another Democrat in and things will be just fine. We need to vote someone in office that is prepared for sweeping changes in present institutions and practices. Sweeping changes can't be nowhere near look like they do. We got to have a valid judiciary system that honors the Constitution. We need to take away their absolute immunity or have a well-oiled judicial oversight that is not controlled by the governor, that's controlled by the people. Sweeping changes in the present institutions and practices. Now that's not something that I'm just making up off the top of my head. Read any social problem sociology handbook from the great thinkers, Karl Marx, Max Weber, Pluto, some of the great sociological and psychological thinkers of time of old, and read the Bible. Men are wicked without sweeping changes to wipe out this corruption. We can't solve these problems without sweeping institutional changes. Now that's an astonishing statement, but it's powerful. And it's the truth. I'm prepared to do that. I'm trying to do that now. I know that's a tough task, but I'm standing on the bridge asking for that. I'm not afraid to ask. I might get a no, but I have faith and confidence that it might take place. It ain't going to take place by lying to ourselves and say we can just do a little changes. No, sweeping institutional changes and practices are required to solve the hunger problem of our children, to solve the government lockdowns, to solve the corrupt judicial problem, to continue electing these crooked people in government office that cause you death and sorrow. Major institutional changes. How many people don't agree with that? You think we can just change the government a little bit? No, we need sweeping institutional changes. We need to go back to the Constitution. Governor Bill, the governor, President Bill Clinton, he was governor of Arkansas when he ran for president, talking to his opponent, ran under it's the economy, stupid. Well, this is my thing. Sweeping institutional changes. It's not complicated. It's the Constitution, stupid. And I'm talking to the people in power, not the populace in Tennessee. To the people in power in the government. To I Bill Lee. To I Bill has been. To Judge McMillan, to Wynwood Russell, to Colonel Matt Perry, to Sheriff Knox County. It's the Constitution, stupid. So, you know, it's that simple. We need to get back to the Constitution, our constitutional rights. It will take sweeping changes to enforce our constitutional rights. They've gone astray. They don't exist. They're not here. You think you got constitutional rights? You're wrong. You're wrong, and it won't correct itself. That's a fallacy. So yeah, we got something we got in here. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and contribute to the movement. Buy my book, and we will make a change in the crooked state of Tennessee if you will help this social movement. And I'm going to show you some of the beauty of the city of Knoxville. And we may be back on here tomorrow, and we may not. I don't know. It depends on how many views we get tonight, and if we get any contributions, if we get any likes and shares. So the way you can help the movement: like, share, and comment. Says Cindy Dimon said hi. Hello, Matthew Knoxville in the house. Thank you, Matthew. So we are getting a great number of people that are showing up to this and supporting this movement. Your presence supports the movement, and I appreciate it. And thank you all. We are trying to make a difference. Power to you, the people. And got a book out, former Trooper Charles Van Morgan story. It's $149 if you want an electric copy. I know a lot of you can't afford it, and that's fine. We'll tell you some of the stuff that's in the book. And we broadcast usually every morning live about 5:30, 6 o'clock worldwide. And have a glorious task. We know we got a lot of hurdles to overcome, but we're trying to do that, and we can only continue this movement if we are funded. So to the movement, resource mobilization theory says that social movements continue because they're funded, well funded, and this movement is about you and trying to protect Tennesseans. Bring prayer back in schools and United States history, teaching our young people like knowledge and less homeschools or private school, but persist be necessary, meet needs of the people. That's right. I agree with that. Gimsby 3410. That's exactly right. Which brings me to a point that is very important. The reason why we have a lot of shootings is because we're teaching our children not to fear God, bring them up without prayer, fear of God, and they think they can go shoot up a school and die, and then there's no hell. And the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill. Let's start bringing back the truth to our children and teach them the right way. So I agree with that. Thank you for that. That's absolutely the truth. We do not need prayer in school. That's why there's a separation of church and state. That's not true. That's not what this nation was founded on. The Constitution is founded on the Bible, that people have individual values. So I don't think we should allow people to pray if they want to pray in school. Allow them, if they want to take religious classes in school. That's not right. The government is not set up to keep religion out of schools. It's set up to protect people if they don't want to hear that, but they should be able to hear whatever they want to hear. We need to bring prayer back in school. And people don't have to pray if they don't want to. Or we can keep it out and let the mass violence continue going on. So whichever way you want it, if you want people killed, but we don't have the fear of God, then hey, I'd rather have the fear of God in schools and bring back values and teach people the fear of God like my mother taught me. And that's what I know. That's the reason why we have mass casualties and shootings in schools. We never had that when we had prayer back when I was growing up. The only time we've had this mass casualties and all this problem with death and destruction is since we've taken the fear of God out of schools, and now we have schools shot up. So you take the fear of God out of schools and you see what happens. It causes people to get dead. So you can stand on whatever you want to. I prefer to protect little children and values that if you murder people, you'll go to hell, and teach people the truth instead of saying, we can't do that because we're the government. Yeah, you can. It's our government. We can do with it whatever we want to do. So like, share, comment, and let's see, try and make my kids pray to your God, and I will sue the pants off the state. Well, the state is immune. See, I got a law degree, and if the state immunes herself from civil cases, then you can't sue them. So you can only sue the state if they let you. So that's not true. That's not legal. So if enough people get together in this social movement that say that we're going to allow prayer in schools, you can sue them all day long, and they can say, case dismissed, we don't allow that lawsuit. And they can stand on the 11th Amendment. So that's not factually correct. They don't have to let you sue them if they don't want to. So you're wrong. You won't sue the pants off anybody. You'll waste your paper and ink with a just government. So that's the truth. It's a parent's duty to teach their children about God and the relationship with God, not the school's duty. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's worked real well, hasn't it? That's why we have shootings all over the state at schools. That's why we have shootings all over the United States, because that's worked real well. Yeah, let's leave it up to the parents. What if the parents don't do it? It's society's responsibility to teach people the fear of God and the moral truth that they'll burn in hell if they murder people. Eat a bowl of soup. A lot of people believe that there is no hell. We've already living in it. That's not true. Whatever you want to, there is too. And if you commit murder, acts of mass violence, we need to teach our children that you'll burn in it. Suicide after you've murdered people will blow you right into hell. Bring back prayer and eliminate all this woke crazy stuff. That's right, Kathy. 8241. That's exactly what I think. So it's not the school's responsibility to teach prayer. That is parents' choice. That's why there's separation from church and state, and everybody has freedom of religion to choose. Yeah, they have freedom of religion to choose, but it's not freedom of religion teaching people not to murder. That they get by it on this world. That there's a God they'll answer to. Now, that's not religion, that's fact. And that's why we have so much school shootings. So I'm not going to argue with idiots. So, you can think whatever you want to. I'm going to try to protect little children. So power to you, the people movement. Resource mobilization. Contribute, share, and like, buy my book. And we will try to be back on here tomorrow morning. Unbridled News. We're going to broadcast news wherever we can all over the state, as we have resources to do that. And I thank you all so much for joining me today. May God bless you all. Let me let you all see the river and the beautiful view on this rainy day in Knoxville, Tennessee. There's the Crooked Courthouse, a view of the river. Next week we're going to have a football game. And last thing I say is God loves you, and I do too.